What's up, guys? Got my Ethereum shirt on today and I am excited. Ethereum is on a tear. So I've been getting a lot of questions on what is Ethereum? Why is the price pumping? If you don't know what Ethereum is, I'm going to discuss that a little bit, but I'm going to talk about why Ethereum is growing and why it could potentially be more valuable than Bitcoin, which might sound like heresy to some, could actually be realized either in this bull market cycle or potentially right after it. So let's get into it. As you can see here, Ethereum right now is about 25% the market cap of Bitcoin, but it is growing. The dominance of it is growing, and it is frankly up 20 times in the past year, which obviously is garnering a lot of attention. That's why I'm getting so many questions, and that's why I'm bringing this to you guys today, is explain it, right? So every asset that you buy, you should be able to explain that in a short elevator pitch to somebody. If they ask you, hey, what is Ether? Why'd you buy it? You should be able to explain to them in 2 or 3 minutes what it is or why you're passionate about it. Because if you do not, then you will sell at the wrong time. You will buy at the wrong time. You'll be overly emotional and you'll be beholden to the swings of the market. You'll buy when your taxi driver tells you that Ethereum's hot right now, rather than buying when the fundamentals are strong and the technicals might need to catch up to those fundamentals. So real briefly, let's discuss what Ethereum is. And then if you want to hit the timestamps down below and just skip to what is making ETH pump, feel free to do that. But let's real briefly cover what Ethereum is. So 2013, Vitalik, he's writing for Bitcoin magazine. He sees a vision for what is possible with the future of cryptocurrencies and having smart contracts and a world supercomputer that's more capable than what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is really good. It's the best at storing monetary value now, but maybe there's gonna be more to that. So him and a couple others launched Ethereum in 2015. It is envisioned to be the next smart contract and decentralized application. And it's a platform. It's essentially an infrastructure that's underlying a lot of different capabilities, and we'll discuss some of that. And value is in the eye of the beholder. So he was not able to do a lot of this on Bitcoin, which is what he wanted. He went to the Bitcoin developers and proposed a couple little minor tweaks to help Bitcoin grow into it. And Bitcoin has decided not to hard fork or to change significantly going forward because it has something that works for it, and it's not going to be adjusting a lot going forward. So Bitcoin has state transitions of sending, in this simple context of Bitcoin from one to another, it has a state transition of that, a UTXO, an unspent transaction, that one Bitcoin's moving from Alice to Bob. Ethereum differs a little bit in that because it has the actual states and they are changing. Mining is a little bit different in Bitcoin, but it still uses a proof of work right now. It's using ETH instead of SHA-256. It's appending blocks in that blockchain sequentially. It is going to be moving to proof of stake. There's a lot of reasons for that. One being sustainability and energy consumption. Another being fairness, decreasing the expenses. There's a lot of different reasons moving to proof of stake is seen as the next great invention. And it's starting to take up some traction in some of the smaller altcoins. All of these transactions and state change requests are built into these Merkle trees, and then those Merkle trees are put into the blocks, which are mined. Don't want to get into that. That's beyond what you guys need to know. But one of the big things that Ethereum is able to do, it's able to create others, or people are able to create other cryptocurrencies, other tokens on top of it without having permission of anybody or Ethereum. ERC20, ERC721, you're able to create these tokens, and they're fungible or non-fungible, and then you're able to trade them and transfer their state and adjust that to whatever you essentially want to do, and then create these markets and these network effects for it. And they're able to do this on top of Bitcoin, or on top of Ethereum. It does facilitate smart contracts. Bitcoin did as well, but Ethereum is significantly more robust in what you can do because it is Turing complete, meaning that you are theoretically able to program anything you want into Ethereum with loops. It does have a finite gas limit, so it's obviously not fully Turing complete. You're not able to execute it endlessly, but for all intents and purposes, it is Turing complete, where Bitcoin is limited because it doesn't need to do as much as Ethereum. And then Ethereum has a state. if I look up my address on Ethereum, it has exactly what my address is and contains, rather than Bitcoin, you would need to look through all of the unspent UTXOs in the past of how much Bitcoin Jerry has. And that's something that significantly differs in Ethereum. It enables a lot of things, but it makes the blockchain substantially more robust and a little bit more centralized, some would say, in who is able to control a full node on that network. Ether is the main crypto fuel of Ethereum, right? So if somebody says they're transferring you Ethereum, that's not technically true. Ethereum is the network of machines, of individuals, of everything. Ether is the currency, the gas that is facilitating the transactions and the decentralized computation on that network. Think about it in the fact that you are paying the miners for some of their compute capability in each one of the blocks. So if you need to do a lot of compute, you're going to pay a lot more in gas. And then obviously the gas fees right now are fluctuating. Hopefully that'll be changed with the EIP 1559 a little bit, and that kind of will dampen out. And we'll discuss that when we talk about what's pumping here for Ethereum. So let's scroll down real quick. And again, this is a white paper. I encourage you guys to get into any white paper that any of your perceived future investments have, so that you can fully understand what these are doing and what their roadmap is for the future. We talked a little bit about gas fees. This is huge, and this I think is exactly why Ethereum is pumping right now. Is the London hard fork on July 14th will implement EIP 1559, will make fees more predictable, and some think that it will actually bring the fees down. I'm not quite sure about that, but that's one of the main things that are driving it right now. So it was proposed by Vitalik, and it was just seeing more steam and build up, and they've actually almost fully developed it, and it will be implemented in a hard fork in July called the London hard fork. So the main reason that ETH is pumping is the main reason that all crypto pumps, is because the price is going up. You can see bottom left to upper right. And that's sometimes a little bit cheeky to say, but that is exactly how these markets are on the swings. And that's why we see such large boom and bust cycles in crypto. So every 15 seconds, and it's actually more about 13 seconds, you can see that a new block is being minted and appended to the previous blocks. And inside of that, each one of those blocks, there's transactions, and each one of these miners is the one that's appending those blocks to the blockchain. So each one of these transactions were submitted by the individuals or organizations or decentralized autonomous organizations, and then were executed by those miners in their computation that was paid by in gas, and then they were tossed into these blocks and appended onto the blockchain. So the fundamentals for Ethereum, I think, couldn't be stronger. Again, lower left, upper right, you can see that the number of unique addresses is continuing to grow at an astronomical rate. You may say, well, every time you generate a transaction, your wallet may generate a new address. That is kind of true in some aspects, but it is fundamentally true, and you can see that the amount of activity that's occurring on Ethereum is growing. That is undeniable. Lower left, upper right. Daily transaction charts, lower left, upper right. Network hash rate. This is how many people are putting their miners on the network to secure the network and make sure that nobody's able to tack or change the history of that network. Lower left, upper right. You can see it gets a little bit parabolic here, and that's probably the ASIC miners that are coming on the network. But it's become so profitable to mine on this that everybody's hopping on. Lower left, upper right for utilization. And as you can see right above my head, that the network has basically filled up. Every single one of the blocks that those miners are using their computation to solve and then append onto the blockchain are now essentially full. So we're going to need to fix that in the future with some scaling solutions. ETH2 provides a little bit of potential there. In some aspects, a lot of potential there, especially for storage. Another one of the reasons that ETH is significantly growing is that a lot of it is locked up. It has a large supply, more than Bitcoin does, but a lot of it is becoming exponentially more locked up in DeFi and ETH 2.0. So as you can see, lower left, bottom right, decentralized finance is locking a lot of that Ether supply. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, you've heard of. Grayscale also has an Ethereum trust, and they have about 3% right now of the currency of ETH locked in their holdings. As you can see, the smart contracts have about 22% of ETH locked up in them. So if you think about them, of you depositing a certain amount of ETH in a specific contract, that either is automatically or autonomously able to execute some smart contract and then pay out that Ether to whomever or whatever it deems appropriate, DeFi and others for that. And then monthly active users are basically the same lower left to upper right with what you can see here is the developers. Ethereum has the most robust Ethereum developer community, period, hands down. You can see the lower yellow line there is Bitcoin, and Ethereum just blows it out of the water almost by an order of magnitude. And this is not even including the developers that are building on the layers on top of Ethereum, on the layer 2 solutions and the ERC20 solutions, the 721 tokens and NFTs that you've heard about on top of that. That is significantly more. So the more that Ethereum performs and is just reliably putting a new block on it every 13 seconds and is growing in size, it validates its existence and its monetary value for individuals. So it's going to continue to grow because people are building on it. People are using it. You may hear that the fees are too high. That is because people want to use that block space. People right now are spending a ridiculous amount of money on Uniswap, for instance, in DeFi. It's about $100 to make a transaction right now, which is ridiculous. But that's people finding value in that. Some of them are bots, but some of them are actually individuals as well. Hopefully that helps. You guys understand like why Ethereum is lower left to upper right. It's exciting. It's not over. I did not think that Ethereum would be $4,200 this early. I think that it will continue. This is absolutely not financial advice whatsoever. But if you are buying the S coins and if you have Doge, why have you not looked into Bitcoin and Ethereum? You owe it to yourself to understand the fundamentals of what blockchain is, what decentralized capabilities there are in it, what immutability is, what decentralized finance is. Look at my NFT video up above, I'll link it. These things are huge, the potential is huge. It will outlast any price bubble that we're going to see. We inevitably will see it, maybe we're seeing it right now. Do not invest more than you're willing to lose. This is by no means any kind of advice into doing that, but I wanted to explain to you guys what Ethereum is and why Ethereum has value. Hopefully you guys liked it. This is Jerry. See ya.